Workman take over. He's at Lake Powell, and he is on his houseboat, and he has graciously agreed to do mastering sales with Brent Gove and Verl Workman. I'm sorry. I'm trying to
I've
look
been
for you.
called
There
Vern
you
before.
are.
It's all right. I
Well,
got it. You
I
got it.
went to the, I know, buddy. I went to the wrong page. So he's only got 20 minutes. So I'm going to let him rock and roll. Do not miss this. If you can stay on, stay on. Tell people to jump on. So, Verl Workman, the floor is yours from Lake Powell. Have at it.
Thanks, Brent. It's kind of fun when you have those virtual backgrounds and people think you're at the beach or somewhere really cool. This is an actual background, and you can see if I do a panorama, this is where I really am, out in the middle of nowhere. Like we're 28, maybe 30 miles up the lake at a place called Last Chance. And I was thinking about Last Chance as you were talking. What a great name for the opportunities that are in front of us right now that may be our last chance to really hit it out of the park. And so, as you're talking about AI and you're talking about the changes that are happening in people's businesses and lives right now, everybody's feeling this tremendous amount of pressure. And I love pressure. When I look back at my life, and Brent, by the way, it was great to see you this week in Park City and when you're in Salt Lake City. And I'll tell you what, I'm still spending any time with Brent Gove is like a shot of adrenaline that lasts beyond the week. So I still feel it right now. So I want you to know that I appreciate the shot of energy that you gave me, and I'm sharing it with everybody else. So thank you for that. I think about this pressure moment, and I believe that pressure is a great thing. A lot of people feel like when they're under pressure, it causes them stress or anxiety. What I do when I feel pressure is it makes me really focus. And so what I do is there's a lot going on in the world, and all of a sudden I start feeling this tremendous amount of pressure. Sometimes I don't even know where it's coming from. I know something's coming, or there's going to be a change in the market, or I don't feel like sales are where they should be, and you start feeling the um, the stewardship you have over the people that you lead. And there's a lot of them, and their families are depending on you making the right choices and things. And that pressure starts to weigh on you. But all of a sudden, what happens with that pressure for me is I cut out the noise and I get really narrowly focused on the one thing that I need to be focused on that'll make the biggest impact and relieve the pressure. And when I look back on my life, and I've had lots of, I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I've had lots of wins and I've had lots of failure. And when I think about all the times when I've had any growth at all, it's always been right after this tremendous amount of pressure, right before the moment you feel like it's time that I might just quit and do something else. That when you hang on and that when you fight through it, that's when this blossom happens, or this tree, or this massive growth happens. I've kind of coined this phrase called the pressure to joy principle. And that I don't believe we can ultimately have joy in our lives unless we experience that pressure that comes before it. Because when the breakthrough happens, that's when you have this unbelievable joy in your life. I'm out here on a houseboat right now with all six of my kids, all of three of their spouses, four, because one just got married 2 weeks ago, four of my kids and their spouses, all 11 of my grandkids, and they're riding around in a boat and they're playing in the water and it's having fun. Last night, I think we caught maybe 30 striped bass. Everybody was taking turns catching fish. They're having so much fun, and the joy these little kids feel when they're just out there at night. You got a light on the back of the boat and they're catching fish. I can't describe it to you, but you know what it is when you experience it. So, congratulations on being here in the pressure that happens right before the breakthrough. And the breakthrough is when clarity happens, and clarity is what happens right before we get the thing that we're all on this earth for, and that is to have real joy. I love when Brent quotes from the scriptures and he says, "Men are that they might have joy." I believe that one. I believe it. So, the difference between excellence and average, I want to talk about today, and then I'm going to give you a tool and I'm going to give you a system that is a money-making activity. Anybody want a tool that is a guaranteed success habit tool? Anybody interested? I need to know who's in. All right, if like with based on your enthusiasm and participation, I'll give stuff away on these calls. We have an insider
Yeah, I
land.
want to I want to jump in right there real quick. You guys wave at him. Yes, and we're always watching you guys. Like, we don't look stupid. I go, we love interaction. So give us a thumbs up, a fist pump. Don't just sit there. We're watching you guys. So back to you. I'll leave it
By
at
the
that.
way, everybody who's on video, you get a big V5 from me because I love it when you're on video. Those of you who aren't on video, I'm going to ask you to put your cell phones down and stop FaceTiming and doing whatever you're doing on your phone and get focused. When you're on video, I know you're paying attention. When you're not on video, I assume you're probably not, because you don't want anyone to see you not paying. You're checking your email, you're looking at other things. Just turn your video on. When you're on video, it makes you lean in, and when you lean in, you're paying attention, you're focused. You know, it's interesting when I go to these big events, even small events. Brent, the other day you did an event in Salt Lake that was great, and I walked in and there were no seats in the front center section, but all your biggest producers were sitting there. All of the people that are the most successful always sit up front, and they always sit in the middle. They always turn their video on, and they always lean in. Vernon is always on video. I don't know anything about Vernon, but I know he's in. I know he's engaged and he's interested, and he's always on video. Carolyn is always smiling and happy and glad to be here, and it brings my energy up when you're doing that. Carmen's driving on video. Carmen, I need you to focus. Don't look at the screen. Just focus while you're driving and have some fun. Okay. So I'm going to give you. Last week I quoted who did I quote? I think I quoted Augmendino. And in scroll number 1, he said, "Today I begin a new life." And we talked about stupid goals. And he said, we get to have a do-over. If you get to start over, what would you do differently? Well, if you turn the page to the second page of that same scroll, he says this great quote. He says, "The difference between those who've succeeded and those who failed lies in their habits. Good habits are the unlocked door to failure, and good habits are the unlocked door to success, and bad habits unlock the door to failure." And he says, the first law, the first scroll, the first principle I will follow is I will form good habits and become their slave. Now, I'm going to say that the difference between average and exceptional isn't that the exceptional are better people. It's that they have better habits and they focus on things that everybody knows they should do, but most don't. Exceptional is predictable, just like average is. And the reason most of us don't track the things that we do in our day is because we don't want to be aware. Awareness is where accountability happens. So it's easier just to say, I don't know, how many of you had a day like this? You're so flippin' busy, you get home and you're worn out, and your spouse or your honey says to you, "Hey, how was your day?" And you said, "Man, I'm wiped out." And they go, "What'd you do today?" And you're left with this dumbfounded look on your face because you have no idea what you did all day. You just know you were busy doing something. It's because your activities were not consistent with your goals and you didn't feel like you made any progress. I call that the busy day, nothing accomplished syndrome. And the only way I know how to get rid of it is that which gets measured gets done. We have to track it. We track everything. We track it. So let me share my screen with you. And I'm going to share with you the Daily Success Habits Tracker. And then I'm going to teach you how to use it. And then I'll show you where you can download it. And if you'll do this for the next 60 days, 5 days a week, and you'll track it like I tell you, I guarantee you'll put deals under contract. If you have people in your organization that are focused on production and they need to get some deals to pay their bills so they can work on their organization, this is the one thing that if they do it consistently, they will never have to worry about peaks and valleys in their income. They'll have consistent, steady income. You ready to see it? That's about a 4 on the enthusiasm scale, but I'm going to show you anyway. Yeah, I want to show. I guess I only have one screen. Here we go. You don't need my recipe. There it is. Okay, so this is the Daily Success Habits Tracker. Now, it looks like a simple tool, but I'm going to break it down into 4 segments for you, or 4 sections. The first section is your dials. These are your prospecting calls that you make every day. The goal of the Daily Success Habits Tracker is to get 61 points a day doing dollar productive activities. Are you able to see this on your screen okay? Is it big enough? Is that better? Okay. And so every time you make a dial, you put a hash mark in it. When you have a conversation, you make an X. That way I know how many dials it takes to have a conversation and how many conversations it takes to set an appointment. You get a point for every dial. You get a point for every conversation. When you set an appointment, whether it's a buyer or listing appointment, by setting appointments, you get 10 points for those. So you make 10 calls, you get an appointment. There's 10 points for the calls and 10 points for the appointment set. When you go on the listing appointment or on the buyer appointment, you get 10 points for that because these are dollar productive activities. When you're done making your dials, you do, let's say you did 46 calls, You put a 46 right here where it says calls. You seeing it? You put down here, calls, emails, and text. When you show 2 homes to a client, you get 10 points for that. If you, as a buyer's agent, only show 1 home, you don't get any points for that. You know why? Because you can't do an alternative choice close if you only give them 1 property. Your job is to find them 2 houses and they can look at both and say, you want this one or this one? Then they can decide. You show them 1 house, there's no, it's not the right one. And then you say, oh, I'll come back and show you another one next week. We've got to teach our people how to keep people moving forward in the process to get them under contract. I'll give you some more things later on that. When you write an offer, it's 10 points. When you close a deal, it's 15. When you do open houses, it's 10 points. When you knock on doors, just like making phone calls, you get a point. Now, knocking doors is not hard. I love knocking doors. All you got to do when people answer the door, it's say, just wonder if you guys want to move. Hey, I'm Verl. You guys want to move? Nope. All right. Who do you know that does? Don't overcomplicate it. We try and go all this fancy dialogue. Hey, I'm in the neighborhood. We're holding the house down the street open. If someone doesn't want that one, you want me to see if they want yours? Try that one. Like everything works, but nothing doesn't. Everything works, but nothing doesn't. I'll get to questions in just a minute if you have some. And then 1MT, 1MT. Brent, you've never heard me tell you about this one, I don't believe. 1MT, 1MT. I met a young man. He was 21 years old. He was a Paralympian. He had only 1 leg. As an 11-year-old boy, he was on stage. I don't know why I always get up next after the Olympians or, the guys blown up in their Humvee in Iraq. And then it's like after everybody's cried in the audience, they introduce Vern from Salt Lake City, right? Or Verl, right, Brent? So I'm on stage in Texas after this young man, and this young man gets up and he says, at 11 years old, I saw some kids come to church and they were wearing soccer uniforms. I said, Mom, why did they get to wear soccer uniforms at church? And she says, they play competitive soccer. He says, well, what do I have to do to play competitive soccer? She says, you got to work out. You got to try out. And if you make it, then you have a game on Sunday. You can wear your soccer uniform to church. Kid's name was Josh Sundquist. And so Josh goes out and he makes the soccer team so excited. But after about 2 or 3 practices, he starts having these massive pains in his leg. Long story short, he goes to the hospital, finds out he has a rare form of bone cancer in his leg. And he said, I remember the doctor coming to me and saying, Josh, you have 2 choices. We can try and save your leg, but you'll probably lose your life. Or we can take your leg and we can guarantee you save your life. Can you imagine an 11-year-old boy having to go through that? And he says, I want to live. So they take his leg. I mean, Josh tells this story. He says, I remember being in the waiting room and the nurse comes in with a wheelchair and she says, come on, Josh, it's time to take you back. And he looked up at her and he says, do you mind if I walk since it's the last walk I'll ever take on 2 legs? Just like broke my heart as this young man is up there, 21 years old and been through so many things in his life. In 2002, he's in Salt Lake City, Utah, attending the Winter Olympics. And then right after the Olympics, they do the Paralympics. And Josh, with his crutches, had gotten up on the stage at the U where they did the closing and opening ceremonies, and he was going, yeah, and he was pretending like he won a medal. And there was a photographer in the stands and said, hey, kid, what's your sport? He says, oh, I'm not an Olympian. He said, you're not? Why not? He says, well, I don't really have what it takes. He says, well, I think you do. He says, you're going to be in Torino, Italy, and you're going to be competing in the Olympics in 4 years. I don't know your sport, but you can do it. Next day he's at Park City and he's skiing, and you rented these ski poles that have skis on the bottom of them. And then the one ski he rides with, and he's going down the slalom course and just kind of playing and getting a feel for skiing. The kid's an athlete. And a guy walks over to him at the bottom of the hill and says, young man, what's your name? He says, Josh. He says, Josh, how long you been skiing? He says, it's my first day. He says, you got some mad skills, kid. Why don't you come train in Salt Lake? I'll bet you we could prepare you for the Olympics in Torino, Italy. He says, I don't think my parents would let me. They had this big meeting with his parents. The whole thing came together. He moves from New England to Utah for the next 4 years and trains just so he can make the Olympic team. He gets down now. So in his story, what's fascinating about this is he's up there training with all these unbelievable athletes that are world-class athletes, and he has to win a certain number of points even to get a shot to make the team. In the very last race of the very last season before the Olympics, he didn't have enough points. He had one last race and he had to do one more thing. He had to win it, not take second, not take third. Well, every day at practice, when everybody would go back to the locker rooms or back to the showers, he would run stadiums one more time, or he would go and run one more time through the slalom course. And with a Sharpie marker on his two skis, he wrote 1MT, 1MT. And that stands for one more thing, one more time. When everybody else is done, when everybody else quits, when everybody else stops, you make one more call. You invite one more friend. You make one more office meeting. It's one more thing, one more time. And I'm inspired by Josh as he's doing this. And he says, it's the very last race and I'm in the starting blocks. And here I am with my two ski poles. The guy on my left is the world champion holder. He holds the world record in this event. The one on the right is the United States record holder, and I have to beat them both. And they don't even know who I am. He says, so I've got one shot. And he says, I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna leap out of the gates. And if I can get a big enough jump with my super strong leg doing one more thing, one more time, I think I can surprise him and just get ahead of him far enough that by the end of the hill, I think I can do this. And so he gets down. Guys, you got to see this on stage. He takes his fake leg off and puts it aside, his prosthetic, and he gets down really low, and he goes red, yellow, green, and he leaps across the stage with his one leg like he's flying. I'm thinking Peter Pan's on stage. He flies across the stage, lands on one leg, and catches himself before he goes off stage. He says, and then I skied. I skied like I was mad out of hell. He's going, vroom, 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 he says, and I get down at the bottom of the hill, I go, and then I hear, whoo, whoo. He says, I took first place. And they go second, and then third. And he says, I made the team. Unbelievable. He said, I remember getting to Torino, Italy, and I'm in the hotel, and I'm waiting, and there's a knock on my door, and it's the Federal Express. He's like, I open up the door, and it's a box. It's this big, and it's from Nike, and it has in it my Team USA sweats and my jacket and my ski coat. One more thing, one more time. This used to be called 60 Points of Rhythm, where we do 60 points every day until I saw Josh speak. And I said, Josh, can I use your story? Can I do one more thing, one more time? Can I share that with everybody I'm in front of? He says, always. One more thing, one more time. Josh has been on multiple Olympic teams now, both summer and winter. If you ever want to follow this guy, look him up on Instagram, Josh Sundquist. He makes the most incredible Halloween costumes out of it with his one leg. One year he was Tigger jumping on his one leg. One year he was a lamp. One year he's a pogo stick guy. It's just funny to see the creativity. He says, when life serves you lemons, he said, we make great Halloween costumes. All right, so 60 points a day doing dollar productive activities. There's only three things we do in real estate. We prospect, we list and show real estate, and we negotiate contracts. If you're not showing a house and you're not negotiating a contract, you should be looking for people who need to buy or sell real estate. That's prospecting. Everything else is fake work. So stop it. And I want you to track the time you start prospecting and the time you end and how many minutes a day you actually spend looking for new business. This applies to recruiting as well and attraction. But for now, we're just going to do this on production. And next time you have an hour, start time and end time, total minute calling. I want to know how many contacts you set, how many appointments were set, how many were listing, and how many buyer lender appointments. Total up your points. Now, the last part. So we've done the top section, we've done the middle section, and we've done the right section. This is the worst, because this is where clarity happens. Every single day, I want you to track in 30-minute increments everything you do all day long in 30-minute increments. And then at the end of the day, Brent, I'm telling you, Brent, because I want you to think about this. How many people, if they wrote $1,000 an hour above this activity tracker, and then they looked at all the things they did, the answer is, if you would not be willing to pay someone $1,000 an hour, you shouldn't be doing it yourself. You got to either have a system to do it, or you got to have an assistant do it. I cannot take you to the place in your life where you're making so much money that you don't make any of your decisions because you do or don't have money. I can't get you there if you spend any of your day doing tasks or activities you could delegate for 15 or 20 bucks an hour. You can't. It's not physically possible. The difference between average and exceptional is exceptional spend times that give them the highest return on time away from family. And it starts by tracking. For
Delegate
me,
to elevate, right, Verl?
delegate
Delegate
to
to elevate, baby.
absolutely.
Next level.
So, Brent, this is kind of fun. People say, I need some accountability. No, you don't. Accountability is awareness. When you become aware of the activities you're doing and how little time you spend on doing things that make you money, you will naturally begin to make course corrections, and you'll have self-accountability. You'll have a choice. Accountability is the most important choice you'll ever make. It's not something anybody can do to you. I don't know how well you know Brent, but you try and make him do something he doesn't want to do, he's going to smile and say, nope, I'm not doing it because it's not going to give me a return on my time. He doesn't have to. He gets to choose. Accountability is a choice you make. Now I'm going to show you something that I usually don't show on a big screen like this, but we track this on hundreds of teams that we coach. Brent, I don't know if you've seen this. This is my workbench area right here. So these are people who track how many calls they're making a day, how many conversations they're having. I've got people from every single company. Look at EXP up there, number 2. I've got people tracking their calls, contacts, appointments, emails, all of their activities. Now let me show you something. You take the same people and you track their activities, and we say, how much money did they make? I'm going to look at the same dates and look at the trailing 12 months. Well, they made 3.5 million, 3.2 million, 3 million, 2.9, 2.8. If your number's not up here, and you're not in that 2 and 3 million or even a 7-figure deal, then maybe we could change your current habits with some better habits. I'm not saying your habits are bad. I'm just going to ask you all the question. Is it possible that we could change some of your current habits with better habits? Yes or no? Okay, if the answer is yes, then we start by tracking. We track everything because that which gets measured gets done. All right, so we've created a new program called the Mastery Insider. And all you have to do is go in here once and register. And then when I give things away on these calls, I'm going to give you a free downloads and we'll email you. I'm going to give you all the daily success habits tracker. But I don't want you to download it unless you're also going to give me a commitment. I'm going to give things to you, and the commitment I'm going to ask from you is that you do it for 60 days and just track it. I don't care if you get 61 points. I just care that every day you just work on getting just a little bit better than you were yesterday. We're going to focus on progress, not perfection. Daily success habits is game changing. All right, I'll take a second now and answer any questions anybody has, Brent. Sorry, that was a lot of stuff, and it's hot.
No,
It's 105 out here right now.
so good. Please hit reactions, put raise your hand. We're going to take questions in order across the board. If you're too shy to speak out loud, type something in the chat. And then I'm going to choose Mark Gabrice to read the chat. So, Mark, if you see a question, I am choosing you. And it's not because I love them more than all of you. Mark, I love you more than all of them. But anyway, don't tell them, it's just our secret. Okay. So but I wrote down while you're thinking of questions to ask him. I've heard it, but it just sank in. Fake work. I love that. Fake work. You're doing fake work. I love that. Delegate to elevate. He said it himself. I said it. Everyone keeps telling you if it's less than $1,000 an hour, you should not be doing it. Love that. I take a note.
Fake work is often disguised as Facebook.
Yeah, yeah. Scrolling, right? Doom scrolling. I love that doom scrolling. You feel horrible. We've all done it. I've done it at the airport too. He's like, how many political things can I watch? And I feel horrible. So I really try to limit that stuff. Accountability, so good. So good. Who get a small group, 3, 4 of you, and hold each other accountable. Let's go. Let's go. Enough is enough. Let's go. That was so good. What gets measured gets done. I love it, man. What are you measuring? What is the success is a math problem. A plus B equals C. It is not magic. It's motion. Do these things daily. It adds up to weekly and monthly. I get to sales. It's that easy. This happens every day and I get the monthly result. 2 sales a month, 3 sales a month, 5 sales a month, 10, 20, 30. My record is 55 sales in a month. How would you like to get paid 55 times in a month? Like big commissions. And my net was 288,000 after all my expenses in a month, not a year, to make 288,000 a month. This is normal stuff if you get in the right rooms. If you listen to Verl, not Burn, Verl. Everyone I mess up. I call my daughter-in-law Alyssa. It's Larissa. I call my daughter Larissa, and it's Alyssa. Larissa, Alyssa, Verl. I'm making excuses, but hey, I'm getting the stuff out of my brain. I'm getting more sleep, and I'll be there. I'll be a little crisper. But final thing I'll say, and please ask a question about something he said. Like, what can I ask Verl? You're one of the top trainers in the nation. Raise your hand, ask him. I'm just making a few points, 2 more points, and the floor is yours. And if again, you could write in the chat if you're too shy to speak up. But the leadership board, some of you need to make a small leadership board and go, hey, we're going to see who does at least 10 contacts a day. But if you do 15, you're number 1 on the board. If you do 20, maybe Mark did 15 man, he ain't beating me tomorrow. I'm gonna do 20, right? I mean, where's your competitive nature? I've always been that way. Like I'm the hound dog chasing the rabbit at the racetrack. Like who's doing what? If they could do it, I could do it. You know, if David Lawson's doing X, I'm gonna catch that sucker and I'm gonna pass him. He's a nice guy. I love him, but he is going down. Ain't nobody got anything. I mean, if somebody's doing better than you and they're driving you crazy, then guess what? Guess what? You got to beat them. I hope they're not as pretty as you. I hope they're not as talented as you. And I hope they have 18 listings. And I hope it annoys you to action. I hope it bothers you deep in your soul and you realize that you're making excuses and you need to make dust finally. Um, uh, Mastery Insider. Did I write that down right? Mastery Insider. Or did I write that down
Yep.
wrong?
Yep. Sales Mastery Insider. So these are sales mastery calls. We're going to have an insider place where I'll give some additional content. I'm going to throw out some videos and, of course, all the downloads. So once you register, then you'll have access and we'll give you the stuff that we use from these sales mastery calls. I believe we're going to get massive momentum on these calls, Brent, that we're going to have a lot of people here because the leaders are here and they'll start telling the organizations they need to join us. I am only going to give you money-making activities. This is a no bull crap. I want to make more money call.
Yeah,
So
that's right. This is
aren't
the
here.
no
They're not.
the no BC zone, no bullcrap zone. I love it. I love it. No bullcrap zone. So two people were done. Two things, Verl. Number one, three things. Number one, everybody bring one person next week. We're going to 72 people on the Zoom. I'm asking you all to show up and to bring one person from EXP or one person from Remax or Century 21. This is broker agnostic, and it's a great way to for people to come into your world to actually sponsor people. And if you love them, be okay they stay at Century 21, but let's help them. That's who we are. I'm dead serious about that. Mark, is there anybody in the chat? Do we have any chat questions? Do we? And while he's doing that,
Yes, we got a few
yes,
questions
okay,
here.
read the chat
First
question.
question was by Michelle. Why was the number 61 used for the trackers?
Well, because when we started doing this, I actually found a guy. I can't even tell you his name just because I drew a blank on it. He was a CRS instructor and he was using 60 points of rhythm, but he was doing it like on a piece of a scratch pad. And I said to him, I said, hey, can I use some of that and kind of perfect it? He goes, yeah, I got permission. And so his was 60 points of rhythm and he was doing about 250 units a year. And he was a young kid that bought his grandparents' business, just like Brent was talking about acquiring a business. And he bought his grandparents' business. A young kid started tracking their habits and they were getting 60 points a day doing these dollar productive activities. And I just made it cooler and better and automated. And so now we put it on steroids and we call it 61 points of rhythm. Great question. I appreciate your action. And when his name comes to my mind, I'm going to tell you who it is.
All right. And Cindy Silva, don't go anywhere. I'm going to call you in 1 second. You're going to love it. But any other questions, Mark? I'm not looking at the chat.
Yeah, Juan Ponce asked, I use a dialer. Do I track the number of dials on a dialer too?
Yeah, I love Juan. I love that he's using a dialer because he's automating his phone calls. You know, cookies are for closers. Give Juan a cookie. Like you get a cookie. That's from Boss Baby. Okay, so all you do at the end of the day is track your dials, man. Your dialer's dialing. I would do the connections as one, and then the conversations as another one. So connections is a hash, and the conversation is an X, because you want to know the connections, not just the dials. It's really making connections. And for you, all you're going to do is figure out your numbers. So if it takes 100 dials to get a connection, that's no problem. Now you know to get 2 connections, you're going to get 1 appointment. So once you understand your numbers, you just duplicate the activities that give you the results that you want. So it's not that it's 60 points or 90 points or 100 points. It's how many attempts does it take to have a conversation? How many conversations to get an appointment? How many appointments to get a buyer or listing agreement signed? Once I know my numbers, I can exponentially go to any level I want in this business because I just duplicate the activity. It's just a game. It's not rejection. No one's rejecting you. They don't know you.
Yeah. Thank you, Verl. Real quick, can you answer the question that was weighing on my heart? Buddy of mine just made a phone call. The guy goes, "You just blew it." And that was how he responded to the call. He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I'm an attorney. I'm suing you. It's a minimum of a $10,000 fine." He goes, "And you're going down." And he is. He's paying $10,000 for one call. So how do you use a dialer and not get 10 penalties a day and 100,000 a day? That scares the bejeebies out of me. Do you have a quick answer? He probably has the right answer. I want to hear it.
Well, first of all, I never want you to do anything that puts you or your family at risk. So just know that that's not the goal. The goal is when you're calling someone unsolicited and you're trying to sell them something, nobody wants it. And so stop selling and start serving. if you just take and change your attitude from stop selling to serving, to say, I just letting you know your neighbor's house is for sale. Some people want the notes on the market. If you want me to call you, I'll make sure I mark it and not call you. Like when you have that behavior. But if you're trying to talk them into doing something they don't want, it's always going to be met with resistance. On multiple calls, I'm going to give you some really powerful things that you can give away that help people have better options than what they're currently doing in their home. We're going to become options dealers, not salespeople. And you're going to have an arsenal of tools and resources to be able to share with people, and you're just calling to share. And then Craig had a comment on the do not call. Craig, what were you going to say on that?
Yeah, we EXP has dial safe, so we use that before we make calls. It's free.
There you go.
Dial safe. Look it up. Ask go into the expert care, go into the world, learn about dial safe through XP. I did not know that. Congratulations for being on today. Any final question in the chat there, Mark? Otherwise,
Yeah, last question I have seen is, I'm new, so when you say call, who are you calling?
Okay, I'll do this on another call, but I'm going to say start with the A's. Get your phone out and start with the A's, and then do the B's, and then do the C's. And if you don't want to call them, maybe they shouldn't be in your list. And what I want you to do is call them, and I want you to use the Ford dialogue. You're not calling to sell, you're calling to serve. Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Man, I've done a horrible job staying in touch. I just want to see how you're doing. How's your family?
Yep.
What are you guys doing for work right now? You still over at there you go. Start with the A's. And then you say, what are you doing for work? How's work going? R is, you guys do anything fun this summer? I'm at Lake Powell. Look at that. I'm in Cabo. I'm in Puerto Rico. Whatever you're doing for fun, right? So family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. What's next for your family? Where are you guys going next? You got anything great planned? I'm just going to do a better job of staying in touch. I use what's called an apology script. Sorry, I haven't done a good job staying in touch. I'm just reaching out to see how things are going. I'm going to do a better job going forward. Start by breaking the ice. Start with the A's and call everybody. And here's what I've learned. The art of conversation is beautiful. When I say, how you doing? How's your family? Most intelligent people say, my family's really good. How's yours? And I'll say, I am blessed. I'm helping a lot of people take advantage of the opportunities in the real estate market right now. Why do you ask?
That's awesome.
Right?
He's good. He's a pro.
Dialogue is
He
key.
can sound that good. You know why he sounds that good? Because he sucked when he started. And then you're okay. Then you're good. Then you're pretty dang good. Then you're expert. Then you're a superstar. And Verl is a superstar. But we're going to have to end the questions there. But I want to go to Cindy Silva. By the way, it's the only time I'm going to disagree with Verl. Don't start with the A's, because A starts for attorney. And so you have a few attorneys, you know.
By name, not by people.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Start with the A's, because if they're in your phone, you're not soliciting. You know this attorney. You're like, hey, Bob, how you been? I haven't talked to you since I went bankrupt 20 years ago. It's not a cold call. You're calling your friend. So anyone in your phone, you know. I met you a while ago at an open house, just checking back in. I think that we use safe, Craig, use protection, whatever you call that, safe call protection for the
Dial safe. Dial safe.
Dial safe. Thank
Dial
you.
safe.
Use dial safe, and then you can even apply it to this and be smart. Cindy Silva, I asked her to stick around. You got to hear this. Cindy was doing great in real estate, but she took her business to the next level, and just is a huge fan of Verl Workman. Coached with his daughter for years, and now she is hands down probably the most successful agent I've ever personally hired in real estate. She got going with me maybe 15 years ago, and she is an absolute bone crushing monster. And if you're a woman and I call you a bone crushing monster, that is my highest compliment. Don't be offended by it. That's a beautiful thing. So Cindy, I want you to sing Burl's praises. You know, I was going to do this for like 1 minute, but tell him why he's so awesome, why he helped you and his daughter.
It's really funny because watching those 60 points, I remember years ago when I started this thinking, oh my God, this is crazy. How are we going to do this? And now as he flashed it, I laugh because that's just my normal day now. Like that's just what you do, because like he said, it just becomes a habit. And I could tell you to please follow his techniques, because they do work, and you will find out what works for you. And just within my first year of working with Verl, I quadrupled my business, and I was already doing really good.
Already successful.
Yes. So I'm telling you,
you did the work. That's why.
Yes, you have to put in the work, and I know it's hard, but it does work. and they're not gonna, he doesn't push you to do things that you don't want to do. Like that chart, if one of those things don't work for you, then put your points somewhere else. Send out 20 more birthday cards that month instead of, door knocking. Like there's always a solution to be productive in this business. And thank you, Verl, for everything you and your company taught me.
Oh, you're awesome,
That is
Cindy.
so
Thank you.
awesome.
I want to show you. Here's Brienne down here. I'm going to tell everybody to say hi. Everybody say hi to my friends. Let me say hi.
Hey.
So
That's
jealous.
a high houseboat. That thing's got to be 4 stories up. I
Yeah,
almost,
we're 3 story. This is a jump gate right here. We can jump off it onto the back.
wow.
So when we get off this
Beautiful.
call, I'm taking a leap.
Yeah, you're off for the rest of the week. Burl, I love you. Everybody, remember your promise. You didn't, but I'm holding you to it. I don't care if you've been or not. Next week, same time, same place, same bat channel for those of you that are old, 2:10 Pacific, 5:10 Eastern. Show up with a friend. If you can't bring 2 or 3, let's blow this up. There should be over 100 people on this next week. But if everybody brings one, Scott, Fern, I'm looking for you to bring one. Vernon Williams, I'm looking for you to bring one. I'm making Richard Henderson, Peggy, Cindy, Carmen, David Gerwell. So you could bring 40. I want you guys, everyone to bring one. We're going to have 72, and then the next week we're going to have 140. We're going to grow this, but I need you to bring one person back or don't come back. I don't mean mean, but I'm just flat taking it how it is. Bring somebody, Century 21, Remax, Coldwell Banker. We are broker agnostic. We love you. We want to help everybody. We're adding value to the community. People matter. Their kids matter. Their families matter. I'm so pumped. I love you all. Vern, I even
Thanks,
love
Brent.
you.
See you, everybody.
All right. Bye, everyone. See ya.